Hello everyone, I welcome you all to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to see how we can solve a problem which I have took from Codeforces in JavaScript. The problem says a plus b again. So this problem I took from one of the recent contests that happened in Codeforces earlier this week. If you want, you can check it out. So last week we had a contest in Codeforces. Its name is Round 964. It is part of div4. If you're getting started with competitive programming or problem solving, right, you can try to solve first or second question in this div4 contest that happens almost every month in Codeforces. So let's get started. So the question says, given a two-digit positive integer n, find the sum of digits. So it says I give you a two-digit positive number, okay, then we need to find the sum of digits. Okay, let's see the input first. So says the first line contains an integer t where the value of t is 1 to 90, the number of test cases. Okay, the only line of the each test case consists of single two-digit positive number where the value of n is 10, the minimum value is 10 and the maximum value is 99. Okay, so it says now the output for each test case and output a single integer, the sum of the digits of n. Okay, so if you're very new to competitive programming or this problem solving, right, so the very first two things which I recommend you to see, that is, always start with reading the input and then the output first. Then you try to understand this problem, the description of the problem, what does it say. Since it is a one-line description, so it's not very hard to understand. What I'll do that is, on this channel I'll try to bring some different questions where there might be a small description, a big description, so that we can get hands-on all kind of problems, right? So this is very simple one. It says, the description says that you are given a two-digit positive number n, right? We just need to find the sum of the digits. Okay, now let's deep dive a little more bit on the input. Say it says the first line contains an integer t. Generally, right, when you do some sort of this problem solving questions, most probably the first line it says is the test cases. So because they want these all cases to run, right, they want your program to run on a different number or a different test case, right? So that is why they say, okay, I'll give you X number of test cases. In these test cases, you need to run your code. Okay, I'll also explain how you can take inputs, in JavaScript, for Codeforces. So let's see that first. Then we'll revisit this problem. I have did some setup. I'll explain the setup later, right? But what happened is see, if you notice this is kind of an input file which we give to this function, and we can say that we give this input file to means the input, it is a file sort of input, okay, and output is also printed in a file. So let's see, I'll simply click on copy. I have also mocked the setup something like that, I'll give the input via some file and also I'll print my output in a file. So whenever you want to take inputs, right, using JavaScript, what you can always do that is, there is a function that is readline. So you can use that. Say const a is equals to readline. Okay, so what does this mean is that you read the first number which is written in this input. So not first digit, but the first line, what is present in the line 1. So it will read that. Let's take a simple example. Say For example, I just have 8, right? So if I say a read line, so it will read whatever was there in the first line and it will store its value in a. Let's check that. I'll do print a, okay, and I'll simply run that. I use this terminal command that you open input, then you run my this code.js, and the output should print in output.tsx, the text file, right? I'll paste that and it is completed. Let me see that. See, ta-da! We got that 8 which was there in input. Now sometimes you might get that you need to input an array, right? Say sometimes they tell you it is a there is space between two digits, like how this is how the two numbers are separated. Now how will you take the input? So it's simple. See, we do this const read line. Now what would be the output here if I dry run this on this input? So the input would be, the output would be what? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Let's see that. Okay. So it gave. Now it is just one string. If I say, let me do one thing just to show you, console.log, say type of a. Now let's see what is the output here. String, right? So it is taking the input on the first string. Now I want to convert this string to an array. So what I can do, that is I can use split function, right? Since it was separated using a space, right? So I can add a space here. And then I will, for some time, let's log a. Now you notice, now it came as 1, 2 with quotes. What do you mean, what do we understand from this? If it was enclosed in quotes, it means it was a string. So in general, when you take an input, right, so the input is always a string. So you need to convert that input to a number. So I can do that. Maybe let me add a map. I'll simply put number. So you read, you split, and then I added a map on the entire array, and then I converted all the elements to a number. Let's see that. And ta-da, I converted that. So these are two things you can keep in your mind while taking any inputs on an online platform like Codeforces. Now going back to the question. Now let's have a closer look on this input. So this is t, right? It says the first integer is t. So let me write t here. Means t is total number of test cases, right? Now we have 8 test cases, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it says t is the number of test cases. Maximum there can be 90 test cases. See, if this number is small, right, the constraints are very small, then your solution might work in a brute force approach as well. But if in this n would be maybe 10 raised to power 6, 10 raised to power 8, in all those questions, right, you need to do some pre-computation. So since it was very small number, right, test cases and the input, so let's try to solve this problem using brute force itself. Okay, so we understood that t is the number of test cases. Then it says these are 8 different test cases, a single 2-digit positive integer, right, 77 and all. So now let's jump to the code part. I hope you all understood till here. So we want to find the sum of the digits. Let's see one example. So the first one is, our input is 77, right? So basically 7 plus 7 equals to 14. and the 14 is the output. Let's take one more test case. 21, that is 2 plus 1 is equals to 3. The output is 3. I hope you understood the problem. So let's move ahead and code this. So how will I code it? I'm thinking, okay, so let's just fix this. So I'll take const, maybe tc is equals to readline, right? Since I explained earlier as well, right? This is a string. I don't want string, I want number. So I can just typecast it. Okay, so I typecast it. So now I wanted to take input one by one, right? So what I can do? I can add a loop for let I is equals to say 0, I less than test case, I plus plus. Fair enough. Now I also want to take an input. So I'll do const n, maybe readline, right? I want to convert into a number. I'll say write number. Okay. Now I got the number. What will I do? I want to make some logic, right? Say let's revisit again. See this 77. Now if some way I want to add them, right? So either I can start from left to right or I can start from right to left, right? So I'm thinking, what if I take, okay, let's take 13 for now because I wanted to, that 7 and 7 both are same digits, right? So let's take this 13, right? So whenever you get any program or problem which says you need to find sum of the digits, it's always better you start from right to left. Why right to left? Because see this, in when we were small, right, we used to have this number system, ones, tens, hundreds, right? Since I wanted sum of the number, right, so I can divide, okay, it can be also 10 plus 3, right? So I can find this 3 using a mod operator. I hope everybody knows this mod operator or the remainder operator. It tells if say I do maybe 2 mod 3 mod 2, right? So that if I divide this 3 by 2, right, the remainder is 1. So this will give me output as 1. So this is something we can leverage here. Also, one operation is 3 divided by 2. When we divide it, it always gives us this 10, right? 1 point something. So we can leverage this. So using these two concepts, let's try to solve it. So first, what I can do that is, let me do, I want just writing for my reference that I want sum of the digits of n. I'm just, what I generally do that is, I try to make small notes of mine so that when I write, it's easy. So I can always do maybe let result, right? I will start with 0. So what I can do that is while, or let me do one thing. I can make this as let only. Let, I'll do while, okay. So n, if it is not equal to 0, till that I want to loop, okay. So first, as discussed, right, since if say our input is 13, so first I want to extract this last 3. How will I do that is, I can do this percentage operator, right, the mod operator. So let me do const let remainder, okay, const remainder, remainder, remainder is equals to say n mod 3. So if I do this n mod 10, so if I divide this by 10, what I will get? The whole number 3, right? So I will do that. So result, let me add this in, result plus So remainder, right? So I will store this 3 in this. Now I want to divide. Basically I want to make it short. See, I already solved for this 3. Now I want to read this 10, right? So what I can do that is I'll do something like this, const temporary, right? So I explained, right, n mod 10. So if I will divide 13 by 10, I'll get something 1 point something something. Since I wanted to extract only 1, so what I can do this, if you will do simply this in JavaScript, right, it will not return you whole number 1. It will return you with decimals. In case you want, you should only get decimals, a whole number. So I don't want to round. So JavaScript have two concepts. One is seal and one is floor. So the justification is simple, its explanation is simple. Just like floor is a down, right? So it rounds down, and seal is like the roof, right? So it rounds up. Say if you divide 10 by 3, the output is like 1.333 something. So what it will do, it will round down, like it will take whole number 1 as the output. And if it is math.seal, then it would round off that 1.333 into 2. So that is why I'm using this temp here. So I got this temp. So let me do one thing. I will update my, what will I do? I'll update this n with my temp. That's all. Now the circle will go on. Earlier it was 13. Now after this cycle it completes, here temp is 1 and n becomes 1. And so then n divided by 10, that is 1 mod 10. My remainder will be 1. Then it will get added in that existing one. And temp is 1 mod 10 is equals to 0. And so my n will become 0 here. And if n is not equal to 0, the condition does not satisfy. So the loop will break. So what I can do that is, you can either use print or you can do console log, and both works. So I will simply print this. Let's run this. So okay, don't save. Oh, it is 00000. Okay, let's debug. A lot of times this can happen with us, so let's learn how to debug this. So let result is 0. What I generally do that is, when I am not able to find out what is the issue, I generally put console logs. I'll do console.log remainder, right? Let's see if it's not causing issue here. See this, my remainder is 7. Every time it is 7. Okay, my result is 0. Okay, then my remainder came correct only. If you notice, this 1 and 2, it came correct. Oh, I got the issue. Can you tell what could be the issue? Say, let me give you a hint. Let me do console.log result. Right, let's print this. See this. Result is coming 7, but the output is coming as 0 because it was here, right? The value did not reflected. So let's do one thing. We can either do a var, but do you really think that would be the issue? No, because the result is declared outside. If you notice, what is the issue? I am printing n. The stupid me, I have printed the wrong number. It should be result. So let me do this now. Let's check. Okay, so you notice there are numbers coming again and again. Why? Because I did console log result here as well. So when you are doing competitive programming, right, you should be very specific. What is this input and what is the output? So it should exactly match. So let's go ahead, and it would be 14, 3, 4, 7, 10, 12, 1 and 18. Let's check 14, 3, 4, 7, 10, 12, 1 and 18. So here you go. This is how I solved one question of this div 964, the first problem. In this video, I also showed how if sometimes you might not get to the exact solution and how you can slowly maybe add a log statement and debug it. So you don't need to worry if your program doesn't run in one shot. Nobody is perfect in this world, right? So just give it a try and you will be able to do it. So let's just quickly clean this up, and then we will try submitting our solution in the Codeforces as well, right? So this is done. I'll also tell why I use choose strict here. Let's go ahead. First I'll paste this. I'll click on this problems is there. I click on this submit code. I clicked here since I wanted to solve the problem A. So I'll click here. You can choose either JavaScript or you can choose Node as well. Both works. Let's try with Node. I'll click on submit. Sometimes it is slow, okay? So you need to bear with Codeforces speed of submission. So it got submitted. My page is getting reloaded. Let's wait for a second. So it is running on test case 1. Let's wait. So if you're planning to go in a contest, right, it's always better you have a local setup. In contest, I have seen that this gets stuck. Sometimes it is saying in the queue itself. So it's always better that if you have a local setup, and then we can quickly try run our code, and we should not all rely on this online ID. So now the question is why I used use strict here. In the online editor, right, this it have a old version of Node and JavaScript which doesn't identify let and const. If you don't want to use strict here, right, what you can do that is in everywhere where I use const or let, you can use var here as well, and then your code will run sleekly. So that is why I need a use strict. So let's see, this is very slow. Okay, I got a runtime error. Let's see. It says the code exited at 1. Okay, why did it happen? Oh, just thinking, checking. Oh, did not give anything. Okay, let's see. Wait a second. Let's try again. I'm just checking if everything is correct. Use strict is there. Let's try once with JavaScript. 1 minute. Just waiting for it to complete and submit. It is submitting. It is redirecting me to the different page. A lot of times it happened with me that my code worked in my local machine, but while doing something there is a issue. Maybe it was causing problem with Node.js. So that is why let's I used JavaScript here and it worked. So you can solve using JavaScript as well in any of the contest or in that online platform. So before I wrap up, I'll quickly show you my setup, what I have done. I'll paste the setup in the description as well. You can copy that. Nothing, just like this use strict is written. Then some this process is written, that set encoding is written. Then one variable is there for input string and the current line. So this is that file functions. So if data is there, so like this. So I wrote a few things. It is for defining this read line and then print. Print is nothing but it is internally doing console log. So you can use this setup and you can use this command, and you will also have your own local setup for Codeforces. So that's all for this video. If you liked this video, please do like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I'll try to upload at least 4 videos a week on this. We'll try to solve one competitive programming or a problem solving question in JavaScript in those videos. Thank you so much.